The signal from the stars. The bridge of the UES Dauntless hummed with the quiet efficiency of a well-trained crew. Captain Ilara Chen stood before the panoramic viewport, her silhouette outlined against the vast canvas of stars. Humanity had ventured into deep space just 70 years ago, yet already they had established a modest presence in this corner of the galaxy. Their first contacts with alien species have been cordial if somewhat reserved. Most galactic civilizations viewed humans with a mixture of curiosity and unease. "Captain, I'm picking up an unusual transmission," Lieutenant Kai Torres announced from the communications station. His fingers danced across the holographic interface, isolating the signal. "It's not on any registered frequency. Definitely not human in origin." Chen turned, her dark eyes narrowing with interest. "Put it through, Lieutenant." The bridge speakers crackled to life, filling the command center with an eerie melodic series of tones and clicks that rose and fell in a distinct pattern. "It repeats exactly every 42 seconds, Captain," Torres said. "Definitely artificial." Commander Jackson Wei, Chen's XO, approached the central holotaple. "Could be a trap. The Arcturus Confederacy has been probing our borders for weeks. Or it could be genuinely someone in trouble," Chen countered. She gestured toward the science station. "Dr. Ibarra, your analysis." The Nigerian sinolinguist adjusted her glasses, a habit she maintained despite corrective options. "It's structured too precisely to be random noise. The mathematical progression suggests a universal distress pattern." "Someone is calling for help, Captain." Chen nodded slowly. "Where's it coming from?" "The sickness void," Navigation Officer Park responded, highlighting a region on the star chart. "Specifically from the vicinity of the Marius Nebula. It's unclaimed space, Captain. No established territorial jurisdiction." Wei's expression darkened. "That's nearly 2 weeks at maximum FTL, and we'd be operating without support. Fleet Command hasn't authorized operations that far from established lanes." A hush fell over the bridge as the crew awaited Chen's decision. The captain studied the pulsing dot on the map that represented the signal's origin. "Regulations are clear, Commander," Chen said finally. "Section 14, Paragraph 3 of the Earth Fleet Charter. All vessels shall render assistance to those in distress when capable of doing so without undue risk to crew or mission. This signal meets all criteria for a genuine distress call." "With respect, Captain, we don't even know who's sending it," Wei argued. Chen's gaze remained steady. "Does it matter? Humanity spent centuries hoping we weren't alone in the universe. Now that we know we're not, are we going to ignore the first cry for help we receive simply because we don't recognize the voice?" The question hung in the air, unanswerable. After a moment, Wei nodded in acceptance of her decision. "Plot a course for the signal origin, maximum sustainable FTL," Chen ordered, "and send a message to command. Tell them we're responding to a distress call under charter provisions." The Dauntless altered course, its massive fusion drives flaring as it accelerated toward the distant signal. As Earth's most advanced exploration vessel, it carried a crew of 300 specialists and a complement of Marines. While not designed primarily for combat, it could defend itself if necessary. Over the next 12 days, the signal grew stronger. Dr. Ibarra worked tirelessly with her team to decode its content, eventually determining it contained coordinates and fragmented data about an attack. "They're under siege," she reported during a senior staff briefing on day 11. "As best we can translate, a species called the Luminary is being attacked by something they call the Void Collective." The message describes a research outpost with approximately 400 civilians. Chen looked around the table. "Options." Marine Commander Ortiz leaned forward. "My people are ready, Captain, but we're talking about a potentially hostile situation against unknown numbers with unknown capabilities." "And we're a single ship," Wei added. Chen nodded. "We proceed with caution. Full defensive protocols upon arrival. We'll assess the situation before committing to any action." When the Dauntless dropped out of FTL at the coordinates, The scene that greeted them was one of ongoing conflict. A small outpost, built into an asteroid, was under attack by 3 obsidian vessels that resembled elongated diamonds. Energy weapons lanced between the attackers and the asteroid's defensive shields, which flickered weakly under the assault. Life signs, Chen demanded. Multiple readings from the outpost, the sensor officer replied. 2 distinct species. One group appears to be the aggressors. Their biosignatures match those on the attacking vessels. Open a channel to both parties, Chen ordered. Before communications could comply, the Dauntless rocked under sudden weapons fire. One of the diamond ships had broken off its attack on the outpost and redirected toward the human vessel. Shields holding at 92%, reported the tactical officer. Their weapons are powerful, but nothing we can't handle. Return fire, Chen commanded. Targeted disabling shots only. I want their propulsion systems offline. The Dauntless's point defense batteries responded with precision, striking the attacking vessel's engine section. The diamond ship veered off, trailing plasma. We're being hailed by the outpost, Torres announced. A holographic display materialized above the command table, revealing a slender, luminescent being. Its body appeared to be composed of translucent tissue through which complex patterns of light flowed in hypnotic sequences. Multiple limbs moved with fluid grace as it regarded the human crew with enormous, multifaceted eyes. You responded to our call, the alien said, its voice translated by the ship's computers into a melodious, slightly synthetic English. We are the Luminary. I am Observer Ilana. You have our eternal gratitude. I'm Captain Ilara Chen of the United Earth ship Dauntless. We received your distress signal. What's your situation? The Void Collective seeks to harvest our photonic essence, Ilana explained, gestures expressing urgency. They consume sentient light. We are a research community, not warriors. Our defenses fail. Soon our children and elders will be absorbed into their collective consciousness. Chen's expression hardened. How many attackers? 3 harvester vessels, each with approximately 50 collective drones. They care nothing for individual life, only the acquisition of energy patterns. Wei stepped closer to Chen, speaking quietly. Captain, this isn't our fight. We've verified the distress call. We could evacuate survivors, but engaging directly would mean potentially sacrificing our own people for an alien species we've just met, Chen finished. I'm aware of the calculus, Commander. She turned back to the hologram. Observer Ilana, we'll need to coordinate. Can your people be evacuated? The luminary's light patterns shifted to a deeper blue. Our essence is bound to this outpost's specialized environment. Evacuation would mean certain death for most of us. Chen nodded once, decision made. Then we stand with you. Prepare to receive a tactical team. We'll integrate our defensive capabilities with yours. After the transmission ended, Chen faced her senior staff. I know what I'm asking. This isn't a sanctioned engagement, and any casualties will be my responsibility alone. If any of you wish to register an official objection, now is the time. The bridge remained silent. Very well, Chen said. Commander Ortiz, prepare your Marines for deployment to the outpost. Dr. Ibarra, I need you to establish clear communication protocols. Commander Wei, coordinate our defensive systems with their outpost. As the crew hurried to their tasks, Chen returned to the viewport. The 3 diamond ships had regrouped and were circling, clearly reassessing this new variable in their attack plan. They're preparing for another assault, Tactical Officer Lin observed, joining her at the viewport. Yes, Chen agreed. And now they're facing something they didn't expect. Humans? Lin asked. Chen shook her head slightly. No, something far more dangerous than humans. What's that, Captain? Chen turned, her expression resolute. Humans with a purpose. Within hours, Marine teams had established defensive positions throughout the Luminary outpost. The aliens' technology was advanced in some ways, particularly their manipulation of light and energy, but woefully underdeveloped in physical defenses. They had evolved on a world with few predators and fewer natural disasters, a paradise compared to Earth's challenging environment. As Commander Ortiz explained to his teams, these folks evolved in a garden. We evolved in a gladiator arena. That's about to make all the difference. The Marines' words proved prophetic when the Void Collective launched their next attack. Their drones, vaguely humanoid, but with too many joints and no discernible faces, swarmed toward the outpost's weakest points, only to encounter defensive measures they'd never faced before. Humanity's long history of warfare had taught them lessons the Collective couldn't comprehend. The Marines established kill zones, crossfire positions, and layered defenses that confused and decimated the attackers. Meanwhile, the Dauntless engaged the diamond ships, its targeting systems quickly identifying vulnerable points in their seemingly impenetrable hulls. As the battle intensified, the Luminary watched in astonishment as the humans, physically smaller and seemingly more fragile than their attackers, fought with ferocious determination. Where the Luminary saw certain defeat, the humans saw tactical problems to solve. Where the Void Collective expected surrender, they encountered relentless resistance. By the day's end, one diamond ship had been disabled, its crew captured, and the other two had retreated to a defensive position. The outpost's shields, reinforced by Dauntless's engineers, held firm. In the command center, Ilana approached Captain Chen. "Your species fights unlike any we have encountered." "You are unexpected." Chen smiled wearily. "We come from a world that tried to kill us every day for millions of years. We learned to be stubborn." "The Collective will return with reinforcements," Ilana warned. "They do not abandon harvests." "Neither do we abandon those who ask for help," Chen replied. "We'll hold until our own reinforcements arrive." "You sent for others." Ilana's light patterns shimmered with surprise. Chen nodded. "The moment we verified your distress call, 3 Earth fleet vessels should arrive within 5 days." For the first time, hope illuminated the Luminary's features. "Perhaps we will survive after all." "You will," Chen assured her. "And after this, the galaxy will know that when someone calls for help, humanity answers. Strength in unlikely places. Dawn, as measured by the Luminary's internal chronometers, brought with it the promised Void Collective reinforcements. 7 diamond-shaped vessels dropped out of FTL, their obsidian hulls absorbing rather than reflecting the light of the distant sun. On the Dauntless's bridge, the tactical display updated to show the overwhelming odds now arrayed against them. "They're not wasting time." Commander Wei observed as the enemy ships moved into an attack formation. "Looks like they're coordinating better than yesterday's group." Captain Chen studied the display, her expression revealing nothing of the concern she felt. "They've adapted. They recognize us as the primary threat now." "Captain," Torres called from communications, "I'm receiving a transmission from the lead vessel. They're requesting to speak with you specifically." Chen nodded. "Put it through." The main view screen filled with a disturbing image. What appeared at first to be a humanoid figure was, upon closer inspection, a composite entity composed of dozens of smaller organisms flowing together in a constant state of flux. Points of intense darkness shifted across its body like negative stars. "Human vessel," the entity said, its voice a discordant chorus of multiple beings speaking in unison. "You interfere in harvest rights. The Luminary essence is claimed by the Collective." Chen stepped forward. "I'm Captain Ilara Chen of the United Earth ship Dauntless. The Luminary sent a distress call, which we answered. They have requested our protection, which we have granted. There will be no harvest today." The entity seemed to pulse with dark energy. "You are interesting. Your species is unknown to us. We sense potential in your neural patterns. Join the Collective willingly, and a portion of the Luminary will be spared. Resist, and all will be consumed." "That's not going to happen," Chen replied evenly. "We don't surrender our allies or ourselves to threats. Here's my counteroffer. Withdraw from this region permanently, And we won't be forced to demonstrate exactly how dangerous humans can be when provoked. The entity's form rippled with what might have been amusement. Your confidence exceeds your capabilities, human. We are many. You are one vessel. Then I guess we'll have to get creative, Chen said before cutting the transmission. She turned to her crew. They're going to hit us with everything they have. Commander Wei, implement Thermopylae protocol. Wei nodded grimly. Aye, Captain. The Thermopylae protocol was a defensive strategy developed for exactly this scenario. A single Earth vessel facing superior numbers. Named after the ancient battle where a small force of Spartans had held off a Persian army, it emphasized using terrain and focused firepower to neutralize numerical advantages. In space, terrain meant radiation fields, asteroid debris, and the complex electromagnetic environment around the luminary outpost itself. The Dauntless moved into position, using the outpost's bulk to shield itself from attacks from one direction, while deploying a pattern of specialized mines designed to disrupt enemy formations. When the Void Collective attacked, they discovered that humans had millennia of experience fighting against overwhelming odds. The Dauntless's point defense systems picked off incoming drones with surgical precision, while its main batteries focused on disabling the propulsion systems of the diamond ships one by one. Inside the outpost, Commander Ortiz's Marines worked alongside the Luminary, combining human tactical knowledge with the aliens' unique abilities to manipulate light and energy. The Luminary could create complex illusions, projecting false targets that confused the collective sensors. The Marines, meanwhile, set up interlocking fields of fire that caught the enemy in devastating crossfires. Despite these advantages, the sheer number of attackers began to tell. The Dauntless's shields weakened under sustained bombardment, dropping to 47%, then 32%. Hull breaches were reported on decks 7 through 9. The casualty list grew longer with each passing hour. In the outpost's command center, observer Ilana watched in growing dismay as human Marines fell defending her people. Your warriors continue fighting despite injuries that would incapacitate most species, she said to Dr. Ibarra, who was coordinating communications. It's not just physical resilience, Ibarra replied, wincing as the outpost shuddered under another impact. It's psychological. Humans are stubborn. We don't like being told we can't do something. Ilana's light patterns shifted thoughtfully. The Void Collective believes victory is inevitable due to their numerical superiority. They cannot comprehend continued resistance in the face of certain defeat. That's their weakness, Ibarra said. For humans, nothing is certain until it's over, and sometimes not even then. On the Dauntless, Captain Chen was reaching the same conclusion. They're predictable, she told Wei as they analyzed the attack patterns. They rely on overwhelming force applied directly. There's no subtlety, no deception. Because they've never needed it, Wei realized. They've always had the numbers advantage. Chen nodded, a plan forming. And they've never faced humans before. Lieutenant Lin, target these coordinates with our remaining quantum torpedoes. Commander Wei, prepare for a hyperlight microjump on my mark. The crew exchanged startled glances. A hyperlight jump at such close range was incredibly dangerous. The calculations had to be perfect, or the ship could materialize inside solid matter or exit hyperspace too late to avoid collision. Trust me, Chen said simply. As the Void Collective pressed what they believed was their final assault, the Dauntless suddenly launched all of its remaining quantum torpedoes, not at the enemy ships, but into apparently empty space behind them. Milliseconds later, the human vessel executed a microjump, disappearing from its position and reappearing behind a collective formation. The torpedoes detonated, creating a massive electromagnetic pulse that temporarily disabled the collective vessel's systems. Before they could recover, the Dauntless opened fire from behind, targeting their now exposed engine sections. 3 enemy ships were disabled in the first volley, 2 more as they struggled to reorient. The remaining 2 managed to bring weapons to bear, but by then it was too late. The Dauntless, despite its damaged state, pressed its advantage ruthlessly. When it was over, the Void Collective fleet had been neutralized, 6 vessels disabled, 1 destroyed when its commanders chose self-destruction over capture. The cost had been high: 27 human lives lost, over 60 injured, and the Dauntless would require months of repairs, but the Luminary outpost and its 400 inhabitants had been saved. In the aftermath, as medical teams treated the wounded and engineering crews began emergency repairs, Captain Chen found herself in the outpost's central chamber, a vast space filled with crystalline structures that amplified and refracted the natural bioluminescence of the Luminary themselves. Ilana approached, accompanied by a council of Luminary elders. Their combined light created patterns of breathtaking beauty throughout the chamber. "Captain Chen of Earth," Ilana said formally, "the Luminary Conclave has convened to acknowledge your actions. You came to strangers in need. You sacrificed your people for ours. You demonstrated strength we did not know existed in the galaxy." Chen bowed slightly. "We answered a call for help. Any human vessel would have done the same. The eldest Luminary, its light patterns more complex than the others, moved forward. We have existed for 9,000 of your years, observing the universe but rarely engaging directly with other species. We believe this made us wise. Today, we learned it made us ignorant." "How so?" Chen asked. "We did not understand that true strength comes not from isolation, but connection," the elder explained. "Your willingness to defend those you had never met teaches us that we have been wrong in our solitude." As the elder spoke, the light patterns throughout the chamber shifted, forming a 3-dimensional representation of Earth, rotating slowly in the center of the room. "The Luminary Conclave has reached a decision," Ilana announced. "We offer humanity an alliance. Our knowledge of the galaxy's peoples and places, accumulated over millennia of observation, in exchange for your protection and friendship." The offer took Chen by surprise. Earth had established trade agreements with several species, but a true alliance had eluded them due to lingering xeno-caution among the older galactic civilizations. "I'll need to consult with my government," Chen said carefully. "But speaking personally, I believe Earth would welcome such an alliance." "There is more," the elder continued. "The Void Collective will return. Not immediately, but eventually. They are patient and persistent. When they do, they will come not just for us, but for you as well. You have proven yourselves worthy adversaries, and therefore worthy of harvesting." Chen's expression hardened. "Let them try." This confidence, Ilana said with a gesture that approximated a human smile. "This is what we wish to learn from your kind." 3 days later, the promised Earth reinforcements arrived, not 3 ships as Chen had expected, but 7, including the flagship UES Imperator. Fleet Admiral Karen had taken personal command when he learned of the situation. As Captain Chen delivered her report aboard the Imperator, she expected reprimand for exceeding her authority. Instead, the Admiral listened intently to her account of the battle and its aftermath. "You took an enormous risk, Captain," he said when she had finished. "You committed Earth forces to protect an unknown species against another unknown species without authorization." "Yes, sir," Chen acknowledged. "I accept full responsibility." Admiral Karen studied her for a long moment. "The Admiralty has reviewed your actions, Captain Chen. We've also reviewed the data on the Luminary Alliance offer." He leaned forward. "Do you understand what you've accomplished here?" Chen remained silent, uncertain of his meaning. "You've given humanity its first true ally in the galaxy," Karen explained. "Not a trading partner, not a cautious neighbor, but an ally who's seen firsthand what humans stand for." "Sir, I was just following the fleet charter." "Exactly," Karen interrupted. "And in doing so, you showed the galaxy something they've never seen before. A species that will risk everything to help strangers in distress. That changes things, Captain. It changes everything." 1 month later, a formal alliance was signed between Earth and the Luminary Conclave. The agreement included provisions for mutual defense, scientific exchange, and cultural education. More significantly, the luminary began introducing humans to other species throughout the galaxy, vouching for their trustworthiness and courage. Word spread quickly among the stars. If you were in trouble, if you needed help, humanity would answer. They were physically unimpressive, technologically still developing, and from a planet most species would consider a death world. But they would come if called, and they would fight with a determination that defied logical explanation. Aboard the newly repaired Dauntless, Captain Chen stood once again before the viewport, watching the stars as her ship patrolled what was now officially designated as the Earth Luminary Protected Zone. Commander Wei joined her, holding 2 cups of coffee. "The Void Collective has been quiet," he remarked, handing her one of the cups. "Intelligence suggests they've withdrawn to their core territories to reassess." Chen nodded. "They'll be back. And when they come, they'll be better prepared." "So will we," Wei pointed out. "The Luminary archives contain information on dozens of species and technologies we've never encountered. R&D is already incorporating new defensive systems based on their light manipulation principles." Chen sipped her coffee thoughtfully. "It's strange to think that all of this, the Alliance, our new standing in the galactic community, came from a simple distress call. And a captain who chose to answer it," Wei added. Chen smiled slightly. "Any human would have done the same." "Perhaps," Wei conceded, "but not every species would have. That's the point, isn't it? What makes us different?" As if in answer, the communication system chimed. "Captain," Torres called from his station, "we're receiving a distress signal from the Procyon sector. A civilian transport under attack by unidentified vessels." Chen and Wei exchanged a glance. Then the captain straightened, setting down her coffee cup. "Plot an intercept course. Maximum speed," she ordered. "Alert the Marines and prepare medical for potential casualties." As the Dauntless changed direction, accelerating toward another call for help, Chen felt a sense of certainty settle over her. This was humanity's place in the universe, not conquerors, not merely explorers, but defenders. Those who would stand between the helpless and harm, regardless of species or origin. The galaxy was vast and often dangerous, filled with predators and prey. But now, somewhere in that darkness, a light had been kindled. A message spreading from world to world, system to system. "If you're in trouble, call. The Deathworlders will come."